Hi everyone, let's talk about political beliefs on the table of diversity. This is a great time because we are entering into election season, so let's talk a little bit about political beliefs. I had a really great question yesterday. Someone asked why there are no elements in bold on the table of diversity in the political beliefs column. If you are familiar with the table of diversity, then you know that in each column there's at least one element that is in bold, and that bold element represents the most privileged identity out of that group. So in political beliefs, as you can see, there are no bold elements. There are a number of reasons for this. One, politics in the Western Hemisphere is very geographical. So depending on where you are, what country you're in, for the United States, what state you're in, and even down to what city you're in, one or the other, conservative or liberal is going to be the more privileged identity based on where you are. So the President of the United States and which political party holds the most power at the federal level is one indicator for which one of these two identities is going to be in bold. The other is your state. So if you are in a more conservative state, then that may be the one that is in bold for you and for your area. If you're in a more liberal state, that's the one that may be more in bold and privileged. But it also depends on the city, because we've also seen where you can be in a more conservative state, but there could be more liberal cities. And so that is a factor as well. And it's so difficult to pinpoint, where the privilege lies, because it is based on where you are. And so that's why there are no elements that are in bold. Just a little bit more about political beliefs that I find to be super interesting. The last update in 2023, we added in the independent diversity element, because that was not on the table of diversity prior to 2023. It was just conservative and liberal. As I was doing research, and I mostly used Pew Research for coming to this decision, there's a lot more political ideologies that are out there besides liberal, conservative, independent, moderate, whatever. And I'll see if I can find the link to this Pew Research. I believe there's like 16 different political ideologies, and because oftentimes we're not 100% liberal, we're not 100% conservative. Like there's some mix, there's some intersections, there's some overlap that occurs, but we just kind of go with what we know and label ourselves as such. The Pew Research study that I referenced a lot as I was putting this together goes into those 16 different ideologies. And it's really interesting because there's a quiz you can take. I took the quiz. I can't really remember where I ended up, but I remember thinking, oh, wow, like I didn't have the language to really describe what I was feeling and how I would identify, but now that I have it, it makes so much more sense. So I'm going to see if I can find that quiz so that you can take it. But I'd just be curious. Let me know in the comments, based on where you are in the world, based on, if you're in the United States, what state, city you're in, which of these elements would be in bold for your area. I think for my area, liberal would be in bold. But if you're talking about the state, conservative would be in bold. So I think it really just depends on where you are. And so I'll see if I can find the Pew Research study, the survey, and or the quiz, and I'll put that in the comments. But before I end, we're having a Table of Diversity launch party next month, August 20th. Mark your calendars. If you haven't registered for it already, register so that we can talk about the 2025 Table of Diversity. We're going to celebrate 10 years of the Table of Diversity. We're going to talk about the updates. There's some big ones that are happening. And we're going to talk about how you can utilize this tool, not just within your organization, but in your neighborhood, in your home, in your school, in your community, so that we can have really productive conversations around diversity, equity, and inclusion. So be sure to register for the Table of Diversity launch party, August 20th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And what other questions do you have about the Table of Diversity? Let's dig in, let's talk about it, and let's learn something. Thanks, everyone. Bye.